The UES Persistence hung in space like a patchwork quilt of metals and composites, its battle-scarred hull a testament to countless repairs and modifications. Captain Diana Martinez stood at her command station, watching through the main viewport as the Solarian Empire's pristine fleet approached. Their ships gleamed like polished crystal, each vessel a masterpiece of advanced engineering that made the Persistence look like a relic from a forgotten age. "They're hailing us again," Lieutenant Marcus Wong reported from his jury-rigged communications array. 3 different systems cobbled together with determination and ingenuity. "Shall I put them through?" Diana straightened her worn captain's jacket, running a hand through her silver-streaked black hair. "Might as well let them say their piece." The holoscreen flickered to life, revealing Grand Admiral Nixus of the Solarian Empire. The alien's bioluminescent features pulsed with barely concealed disdain as they regarded the human vessel. "Captain Martinez, I must once again express my concerns about your vessel's participation in this joint defense initiative." Behind Nixus, other Solarian officers made no attempt to hide their amusement. Where their ships boasted seamless construction and elegant design, the Persistence looked like it had been assembled from spare parts, which, Diana had to admit, wasn't far from the truth. "Your concerns are noted, Grand Admiral," Diana replied diplomatically. "But Earth's United Defense Force stands ready to assist as per our treaty obligations." Assist? Another Solarian stepped into view. Chief Architect Raylan, their head of engineering. "Your vessel violates 37 different Solarian safety protocols. Those exposed power conduits alone are an affront to proper engineering principles." Diana shared a knowing look with her chief engineer, Raj Patel, who was currently hanging upside down in a maintenance shaft, rewiring something that probably shouldn't have needed rewiring. Raj gave a thumbs up and went back to his work, whistling an old Earth tune. "We find that proper engineering principles are excellent guidelines," Diana replied with a straight face, "especially when combined with sufficient application of human ingenuity and what we like to call creative problem-solving." Before Raylan could respond, alarms blared across both ships. Lieutenant Wong's console sparked dramatically, a regular occurrence, as he read the incoming data. "Multiple quantum ruptures detected, Captain. Energy signatures unlike anything we've seen before." The space around them began to tear open like wet paper, revealing massive shapes that seemed to devour light rather than reflect it. The Void Hunters had arrived, living ships that consumed energy and matter alike, a threat that neither humans nor Solarians had encountered before. Diana watched as the first wave of attacks hit the Solarian fleet's energy shields, their perfect defenses flickering under the assault. "Hard to defend against something that doesn't play by the rules," she muttered, then raised her voice. "All hands, battle stations. Raj, is that crazy idea of yours ready?" "Ready as it'll ever be, Captain." Raj's voice echoed through the ship. "Though I still say it's completely insane." "Insane is what humanity does best." Diana turned back to the screen where Grand Admiral Nixus was barking orders to their fleet. "Grand Admiral, request permission to take point on this one. We've got an idea." "An idea?" Raylan scoffed. "Your vessel can barely maintain stable flight. What could you possibly—" "Permission granted," Nixus interrupted, surprising everyone. "Our conventional tactics are proving ineffective." Diana grinned. "Wong, fire up the RESP system. Raj, divert power to the magnetic salvage arrays. Let's show them why humans never throw anything away." The Persistence's patchwork hull began to hum with energy as hidden panels slid open, revealing what appeared to be massive magnetic grappling systems cobbled together from mining equipment. The Void Hunters, drawn to energy emissions, turned their attention to the human vessel. "They're taking the bait," Wong reported. "RESP system at full power." "What exactly is this RESP system?" Nixus demanded. "Randomized adaptive scrap projection," Diana explained as her ship began to glow with an odd pulsing light. "But really, it's just a fancy way of saying we turned our garbage collection system into a weapon." Those things feed on energy. Fine. Let's give them indigestion. The Persistence launched itself toward the nearest void hunter, its magnetic arrays humming with power. The alien vessel, expecting to feed on pure energy emissions, instead found itself being bombarded with a carefully calculated mix of radioactive waste, metallic debris, and what appeared to be several thousand tons of expired emergency rations. The thing about void hunters, Diana explained to the stunned Solarian officers as they watched their screens, is that they're too perfect. They evolved to consume pure energy, but humans. We've spent centuries figuring out how to deal with waste, impurities, and things that don't work quite right. The Void Hunter writhed as its absorption fields choked on the contaminated matter, its perfect form beginning to break down under the assault of humanity's refuse. On the Solarian ship's screens, the impossible was happening. The unstoppable Void Hunters were being poisoned by garbage. Impossible, Chief Architect Raylan whispered. You've weaponized imperfection. We prefer to call it creative recycling, Diana replied, watching as more Void Hunters began to retreat from the battlefield. Now about those safety protocols you mentioned. Would you like to hear our thoughts on the tactical applications of properly applied emergency welding techniques? 2 days later, the Persistence's engineering bay had become a hub of unlikely collaboration. Raj Patel hung from a support beam, demonstrating to a group of increasingly fascinated Solarian engineers how to deliberately misalign a quantum harmonizer to create what he called constructive interference patterns. But the efficiency rating drops by 12.4% when you do that, protested junior architect Venna, her bioluminescent patterns flashing in distress. Ah, but the adaptability rating goes up by 35%, Raj countered, tightening a bolt with what appeared to be a modified kitchen utensil. Perfect systems break perfectly. Imperfect systems learn to bend. Above them, through the engineering bay's observation window, the combined human-Solarian fleet conducted joint maneuvers. 3 Solarian vessels had undergone what Grand Admiral Nixus reluctantly termed tactical optimization. Their once pristine hulls now sported exposed support struts, modular attachment points, and what Captain Martinez had officially designated as strategic irregularities. Incoming spatial anomaly. Lieutenant Wong's voice crackled through the ship's comm system. Multiple Void Hunter signatures, but something's different. Diana rushed to the bridge, arriving just as the space before them tore open. The Void Hunters that emerged were changed. Their once smooth forms now jagged and asymmetrical, as if they'd attempted to adapt to human unpredictability by becoming unpredictable themselves. Well, Diana muttered, that's new. They've evolved, Grand Admiral Nixus observed through the comlink. Our previous tactics may no longer be effective. Good, Diana replied, a small smile playing at her lips. That means they're learning. Raj, remember that absolutely insane idea you mentioned last week? The one that made junior architect Venna faint? The quantum uncertainty amplifier. Raj's voice carried a mix of excitement and terror. Captain, that's completely untested. It violates at least 47 different laws of physics. 48, actually, Venna chimed in, her voice stronger now. But I've been running some calculations, if we combine it with our crystalline resonance technology. Diana's smile widened. Looks like our new friends are learning to think outside the box. Wong, signal the fleet. Raj, Venna, you have 1 hour to make the impossible possible. Again. The next 60 minutes were a blur of activity as human ingenuity and Solarian precision found a strange but effective harmony. Raj and Venna's teams worked in organized chaos, combining technologies in ways their respective societies would have deemed impossible or insane. As the last connections were made and the final calculations verified, Diana stood on her bridge, watching the approaching Void Hunters. Their revolved forms seemed to mock the fleet's previous victory, but there was something they hadn't counted on: the power of 2 very different species learning from each other. All ships reporting ready, Captain, Wong announced. The Solarian vessels have successfully integrated the quantum uncertainty amplifier modifications. Grand Admiral Diana called through the comm. I believe it's time to show these void hunters that evolution works both ways. Care to join us in making the impossible look easy? Nyx's bioluminescence pulsed with what Diana had learned was their equivalent of a smile. Indeed, Captain Martinez, it seems that sometimes the most elegant solution is no solution at all. The combined fleet faced the evolved void hunters, their modified ships humming with the strange harmony of human chaos and Solarian precision. The quantum uncertainty amplifier, a device that shouldn't have worked by any reasonable standard, pulsed with an energy that defied conventional physics. All ships, activate your QEAs on my mark, Diana commanded, watching as the void hunters approached in their new jagged formations. Remember, the key is to be as unpredictable as possible. Raj, how's our special sauce looking? Raj's voice came through with the usual accompaniment of background chaos. The quantum probability matrix is fluctuating exactly as planned, which is to say, completely randomly. Junior Architect Venna's crystalline resonance modifications are actually making it even more unstable. Excellent work, Diana grinned. Though I never thought I'd hear a Solarian engineer say unstable with such enthusiasm. Through the command screen, Grand Admiral Nyx's bioluminescence flickered with what had become their version of wry amusement. Captain Martinez, your species' influence on my crew is both disturbing and fascinating. Venna has started using human idioms in her technical reports. Just wait until she discovers Earth's collection of engineering jokes, Diana replied. Speaking of which, Wong, initiate Protocol Murphy. Lieutenant Wong's fingers danced across his console, which now sported a peculiar mixture of human and Solarian technology. Protocol Murphy engaged, Captain. As you humans say, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. But this time, in our favor. The void hunters struck first, their evolved forms shifting and writhing as they attempted to adapt to the fleet's defenses. But where before they had faced either pure energy shields or chaotic human tactics, now they encountered something entirely new. The quantum uncertainty amplifier created a field of pure probability around each ship. When the void hunters tried to absorb energy, they couldn't predict what form that energy would take. One moment it was thermal, the next gravitational, then something that technically shouldn't have existed in this dimension. They're trying to adapt, Venna reported from engineering, her voice excited. But the crystalline resonance is creating a cascade of quantum possibilities. They can't evolve to counter something that's constantly evolving itself. Diana watched as the first void hunter began to twist in on itself, its attempt to process the unpredictable energy causing its structure to collapse. All ships push forward. Raj, initiate Phase 2. Phase 2. Nyx's questioned. I don't recall discussing a Phase 2. That's because we just made it up, Diana admitted. Raj and Venna came up with it about 5 minutes ago. Something about using the quantum fluctuations to create a temporal feedback loop. In engineering, Raj and Venna worked in perfect synchronization, their different approaches to problem-solving creating solutions neither species would have conceived alone. The Solarians' precise calculations gave structure to human intuition, while human creativity helped break through the limitations of conventional thinking. Ready for Phase 2, Raj announced. Though I should mention that there's a 73% chance this will either save us all or turn the entire fleet into sentient pudding. Those are better odds than usual, Diana noted. Execute Phase 2. The quantum uncertainty amplifiers pulsed in harmony, their fields beginning to overlap and interact. Where they intersected, space itself seemed to hiccup, creating pockets of what Venna would later describe as aggressively improbable reality. The void hunters found themselves caught in these pockets, their adaptive abilities working against them. As they evolved to counter one impossible condition, they became vulnerable to 3 others. Their perfect forms began to break down, unable to maintain coherence in the face of orchestrated chaos. It's working. Juan reported, his console now shooting sparks in 7 different colors. The Void Hunters are retreating. Though, according to these readings, several of them have technically retreated backwards in time. I told you we should have carried the quantum remainder, Venna muttered to Raj. Nah, Raj replied, patching a power conduit with what appeared to be chewing gum and optimism. If we had, we wouldn't have gotten that fascinating time-space origami effect. Look, that one's turned itself inside out through yesterday. Diana shared a look with Grand Admiral Nixus through the command screen. I think, she said carefully, we've just proven that the impossible becomes much easier when you stop trying to make sense of it. Nix's bioluminescence pulsed in what might have been agreement or resignation. Indeed, though I must ask, was turning 3 of the Void Hunters into what appears to be quantum jazz music part of the plan. I was wondering what that sound was, Diana mused. Raj, add accidental musical warfare to the mission report. And someone please tell me we're recording this. The science division back on Earth is never going to believe it otherwise. 1 month after the quantum jazz incident, the Persistence's engineering bay had become unrecognizable. Solarian crystalline technology merged seamlessly with human jury reading, creating systems that defied conventional classification. Raj and Venna stood before their latest creation, a device that looked like abstract art made from spare parts and quantum crystals. The High Council wants a status report on the integration project, Grand Admiral Nixus announced through the newly upgraded communication system, which occasionally played Earth classical music during transmissions, a feature nobody could quite explain or wanted to remove. Tell them it's going perfectly imperfect, Raj replied, adjusting what appeared to be a temporal stabilizer held together with rubber bands and hope. We've successfully taught their ships to think outside the box by removing several boxes entirely and adding a few non-Euclidean ones, Venna added proudly. Her formerly pristine Solarian uniform now sported tool pouches and what humans called lucky socks. Our latest simulations show a 300% increase in tactical adaptability, though I should note that 15% of that exists in theoretical spacetime only. Diana smiled from her position on the bridge, watching through the viewport as the combined fleet conducted maneuvers. The Solarian ships now moved with a fluid grace that merged their crystalline precision with human unpredictability. Even their hulls had changed, their once perfect surfaces now bearing proud marks of modification and adaptation. Incoming spatial rupture, Wang announced, his console sparking with what everyone had learned to recognize as excited electricity. But this is different. The space before them tore open. But instead of the chaotic, jagged tiers of the Void Hunters, this rupture was almost elegant. A single entity emerged, a Void Hunter, but one unlike any they'd seen before. Its form shifted between states of matter, a dance of order and chaos. It's attempting to communicate, Wang reported, surprised. The quantum signatures, they're structured, like it's learned to speak in probability waves. The entity approached slowly, its form resonating with both the Solarian crystals and the human improvised technology. Through the quantum frequencies, a message formed. Adaptation. Achieved. Understanding. Reached. Diana shared a look with Nixus through the command screen. Well, she said, I guess they really were learning. The Void Hunter's message continued. Your combined patterns showed us new way. Evolution, not just survival, but understanding. We seek dialogue. Incredible, Venna breathed, her bioluminescence pulsing with excitement. They've evolved beyond simple consumption. They've learned to synthesize differences, just as we have. Sometimes, Raj mused, the best way to solve a problem is to stop seeing it as a problem. Though I never expected to teach that lesson to space-time eating cosmic entities. The next few hours were filled with unprecedented exchange. The Void Hunters, they learned, had evolved from pure energy beings into creatures of pure potential, seeking to understand the universe through consumption. But humanity's chaos and Solarian precision had shown them a different path, one of synthesis rather than absorption. In the Persistence's conference room, now modified to accommodate both crystalline architecture and human comfort, Diana sat with Nixus, watching their crews work together on establishing communication protocols with their former adversaries. "You know," Diana said, "when we first met, I never thought I'd see a Solarian engineer using duct tape, let alone using it to repair a quantum probability matrix." Nix's bioluminescence rippled with amusement. "Just as I never imagined I would find myself appreciating the tactical advantages of what you call winging it. Perhaps that was the greatest lesson, that perfection isn't about being flawless, but about being adaptable." Though I still say the quantum jazz was a nice touch, Reg called from where he and Venna were teaching a void hunter the finer points of human card games, a scene that would have been impossible just months ago. "Indeed," Nixis agreed. "Our analysts are still trying to determine how that happened. They've created 3 new branches of physics in the attempt." Sometimes, Diana smiled, watching as human, Solarian, and Void Hunter worked together. The best discoveries happen when you stop trying to explain everything and just embrace the impossible. Outside the viewport, the combined fleet hung in space, their modified forms a testament to the power of change. The Void Hunters moved among them now, their presence a reminder that understanding could come from the most unlikely situations. Lieutenant Wong's console sparked one final time, this time playing a perfect harmony of human music, Solarian crystalline resonance, and Void Hunter quantum frequencies. Nobody questioned it. They'd all learned that sometimes the best solutions were the ones that shouldn't have worked at all. "So," Diana asked, "who's going to write the report about all this for the bureaucrats back home?" The collective groan from all 3 species proved that some things, at least, were truly universal.